Hello, welcome again to FAIRtax Power Radio. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Malero.
And we are the FAIRtax guys.
I forgot the props at
One
home
of us
today.
forgot our props this morning, didn't we?
No scrolling banners, no books propped up there. Another senior moment. It's been a busy household in the Malero household.
Oh, well, that's what happens when you have a major renovation project that's gone on for 6 weeks and it takes forever to get done.
Yeah, we hope to get our bathroom back tomorrow.
But we are live, coming to you live from Big Daddy Studios in Gainesville, Florida. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, December the 19th. And as you can tell, we have a special guest with us today, which we're going to get to in just a second. But first, let me remind you that we are on live. You can call us at 888-787-8023. Again, that's 888-787-8023. And as we get into things with our guest here, you may want to talk to him. And of course, you can always send us an email at thefairtaxguys@gmail.com. or like us on the FAIRtax Guys Facebook page. Of course, we're broadcasting live on the FAIRtax official page. And we would like to welcome Jim Bennett to the program this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we're going to try something here on FAIRtax Power Radio. We thought of this a couple of weeks ago, but of course, everybody who watches the show knows that Ron and I are in Florida. We're both very active with the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association, so a lot of times we're a little bit scared of the fact that we seem to be a little too Florida-centric here, but that's just our world. That's what we know. And we decided it would be a good idea to do our FAIRtax Volunteer Spotlight and look at other people in other parts of the country that doing things that we might not hear about on a daily basis and give them a chance to reach our audience and what's going on. And Jim is in the frigid state of New Jersey, I understand. It's only about, 14 degrees there this morning?
It's a few degrees warmer than that, but it's colder than where you were.
All right. Well, we got somebody on here. Our buddy Morris Yoder is from Oregon. I don't know how cold it is in Oregon at the moment, but somebody. Oh, this one from Louisiana. Michael's Alcoin's from Louisiana. So we've got Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, and Oregon so far, and we just got started. So hopefully that'll work well.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, for those of you who do not know Mr. Bennett, he is a retired Deputy Attorney General with the New Jersey Attorney General's Office, and is a board member of AFFT, Americans for Fair Taxation, the national group that's supporting the fair tax. And you're into grassroots organizing, which is something that we really need. Expand on that a little bit, what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Well, I retired 7 months ago, and I thought we needed to focus on grassroots because the one advantage that we have over big corporations with a lot of money is that we can vote, corporations can't. So if we can get enough people together to put pressure on Congress to pass the fair tax, and we don't have to have 750,000 people in every congressional district, we just need a tiny percentage of that to get people motivated. So I decided that what I would focus on when I retired was to get people organized in every state, every district, and it's become somewhat of a tough job, but it's one I enjoy doing, and we want to try to get people together and people meet so that they can do what they need to do to get Congress to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we keep an eye on Congress.gov. We've been doing that all of this congressional session. And we have discovered if you go into their search bar and you type in the words Internal Revenue Code, put that in quotes so it looks for that string, you will get 1,967 hits. The ways that the Congress critters are trying to mess with the tax code, and they get away with it because we the people let them. You know, we're not watching them. They think they can do anything because they don't know what's going on. The people don't know what's going on. And we do know what's going on, and organizing people to do things just like that. Contact your congressman, go to their town halls, write letters to the editor and stuff like that is right up your alley and what you're getting folks to do.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask Jim to give us an idea of what some of the people around the country are doing, because we know about the leaders of AFFT. Jim is a board member with AFFT. We know some of those, but we don't know some of the in the streets, what's happening with the fair tax, what people are doing.
That's what we want to do. We want to highlight the work that other people are doing in other parts of the country. So have at it, Jim. That's your bailiwick.
Sure. No, we have a lot of people working all over the country. Most of us know Marilyn Rickard in Illinois.
Yep, I do. She was the one who invited us to come up to CPAC last February, and that was fun.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where we met in person.
That's right.
So, Marilyn takes care of programs, projects, and activities. She's done CPAC. She's done Netroots. So she does both sides of the political aisle. She's done Faith and Freedom, which is where we met. She does Tea Party Patriots, Congressional Black Caucus, and you name it, she's done it. She gets it organized. Washington, D.C., she's been in Las Vegas. She's been all over the place. So she's been, Marilyn Rickard is really a firebrand, and she's been going since before I got involved in the fair. So that's one example. Now, if we go all the way over to the West Coast, we see a very active group out in California led by Marty Sturmer. He's from the Bay Area, and he works with Frank Wagoner, John Nobles, Nancy Kesey, and those folks get together on the phone every week to talk about FAIRtax projects. And if you've been looking on Facebook, if you've been looking on Facebook, you'll probably see that Marty and Frank going to college campuses. They go to Berkeley, they go to San Francisco State, and right now they're keeping it low key. They're just trying to get the word out. They hold up banners, and students walk by and ask questions. Their intermediate term goal is to try to get a table and get students to sign up, because that's really the future of FAIRtax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe we should go to the middle of the country. And in Nebraska, we have Scott Peterson, Kyle Clark, who handle our database for us, and they do an excellent job of it. And we have Rob Rohrbaugh and Floyd Zabel. And those people have an in-person meeting statewide every month. And we'd love to have that in New Jersey. We're a much smaller state. Nebraska is a much bigger state than we are, and somehow they manage to get together every month.
Mm-hmm.
So, recently they got a state legislature to sponsor a study on the advantages of a consumption tax over an income tax in the state of Nebraska. So we're doing a lot of that. Let's go down to Alabama, and we can't overlook Chuck Bailey.
Yeah, roll Tide.
That's right.
My brother lives in Tuscaloosa, so I have to say that.
FAIRtax. Now, that's a little sleeper, because if we can get a FAIRtax going at a state level and show that it improves a state economy, then that'll be a model for a national FAIRtax.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of things going and a lot of moving parts.
One of the things I wanted to get into with you as the grassroots director, if I'm sitting in a state someplace and there's really no organization around me for me to join and I want to get started, what kind of resources are available to somebody who wants to join the fight but doesn't know how to?
There's a couple of things that we can help you do. First of all, the person who's interested in the FAIRtax at the local level has to take the initiative. But we can help with a couple of things. We have a database. So if you give us a protected assets agreement, which we do need, because we don't want our list being used for political purposes or other things like that. But if you can get a list from us, then at least you have something you can start with to try to get a group together. And we think that's really the key, because a group I define as 2 or more people in any state or any congressional district or any municipality who support the FAIRtax. And if you can get a group together and confer regularly, you can come up with projects, programs, and activities at your level, doing the same thing that Marilyn Rickard does at the national level. And that's really the key. And I think you can be more efficient at a local level because you can get in touch with your friends, family, colleagues, and neighbors. So we think that's important. Another thing that we're working on at the national level is liability event insurance. So if somebody slips and falls and you register with us, you will be covered. We don't have that yet, but we're working on it. And we think that once you get your group together, there's any number of things you can do. You can attend congressmen's town halls. You can talk to your legislature, meet with your congressperson. You can go to fairs, events. We have street fairs in New Jersey, and you can write to. You can get on social media. You can write to newspapers and do any number of things. So we think it's much better for the local group to decide what we're doing. Because Phil's been with us for years, even before I joined, and he's been working on a Georgia state level FAIRtax. It should be a real FAIRtax for several years, and they have a bill that's been introduced into a session of their state legislature, and right now they're working on what would be called something very tactical. They're trying to get a revenue neutral rate, and they're negotiating back and forth with state fiscal people on what rate that would have to be charged in order to be revenue neutral. And Georgia has different county taxes at different levels, and that's one of the things they're trying to iron out. But I think we're going to see an article from Phil it's on a different subject, but Georgia's been working on a state level FAIRtax. So if they pull it off, then I think we're going to jump light years ahead.
That's the way the Founding Fathers envisioned things, that the states would be kind of laboratories for best practices things and see what works and what doesn't work. And you take the best of what works at the state level and kick it up to the national level, and hopefully we can make that work with the FAIRtax.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jim, tell us about, we've got lots of notes here. Tell us about some of what some of the other people are doing around the country.
Sure. Well, we have a fellow in Alaska who's been working for many years, Wiley Brooks, and he's trying to reach out to the database, the folks in Alaska, try to get contributions going and to try to get some energy going up there. Adam Yomtov in New York has been helping Kyle Clark with the database, and he's been very active there. Here's something you may be interested in knowing about. Laura McHugh of North Carolina is working on a FAIRtax president at the Republican National Convention in Charlotte in 2020. So if we can get a big showing there, we may get a courtesy room, we may get a table. I don't know yet. I think if anybody wants to help Laura McHugh, get in touch with me, and I can get you in touch with Laura and get her started on that.
Wow. That'd be great.
In Tennessee, we have James Baird and Tony Urbanek. They've and put some new energy into the effort down in Tennessee, and they're interested in alliances with groups, and they're looking around organizations that are looking for people to interview. So, if you're interested in getting on the air locally, you can get in touch with Tony Urbanek, or you can get in touch with Steve Hayes. There's any number of people like that.
Yeah.
David Swift in New York is trying to develop West Virginia. We have a state leader in West Virginia. He's gotten a little busy with personal affairs and with trying to start businesses, so he hasn't had a lot of time to put into the FAIRtax. And David's trying to find people there who would be interested in doing some work and trying to get the buzz going. And we have Donald Cooper in Virginia, Virginia 6, and he has a very interesting boots on the ground project going. So we have a lot of activity going on.
Donald Coop also, a couple of years ago, he did some work on relative purchasing power, which Bob and I have talked about before. We're going to have to do another show on that. But his work on that was very helpful.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I've got a question here from Sandy Goodell. She says, I heard you mention someone in Tennessee to get in touch with. Sandy is in Tennessee. Will there be a link later? Can you repeat that for Sandy?
Sure. Tony Urbanek.
Tony Urbanek. Your audio is a little difficult to understand, so let me kind of repeat what you're saying. Tony,
yes.
Tony Urbanek is the guy's name?
Yes, Urbanek.
Urbanek.
He's a doctor in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And you can get in touch with him, and he'll put you to work. Or he'll take your ideas and help you to implement them.
Okay, Sandy, I hope that answers your question for you. If you need to, we can you can get back with us a little bit later on that. But hopefully that'll work. Where in Tennessee is this, Mr. Urbanek?
That's near Nashville.
Nashville. I'm not sure where.
Email me, Jim.Bennett, 2 N's and 2 T's in Bennett at FAIRtax.org.
Oh, Randy,
I'll be glad to give you Tony's contact information.
Randy Fisher just put your email up in the comments.
Yeah, great.
Now,
yep.
I'm not sure where Sandy is, if she's close to Nashville or not, but she can probably figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Those interpersonal connections are very important.
I'm curious to know what's going to happen with this new Congress. I mean, we're going to have the House is going to flip over to the Democratic side. They have not been as amenable to the fair tax as the Republicans have.
Their leadership hasn't,
though there have been some rank and file people that didn't. What kind of plans are underway to try to convince those that have historically not supported the fair tax to see the likes? I don't know anybody, regardless of what your political ideology or party affiliation may be, I don't know anybody who would not like a bigger paycheck and no withholding.
Sure. I just had a flip in my congressional district. We lost Leonard Lance. He never became a co-sponsor, but he's been replaced by a Democrat, Tom Malinowski, and one of my projects is to visit him. Mm-hmm. We have a few new faces, one of whom is Alan Waters in Massachusetts, Big Blue, Massachusetts. So he ran for the Senate. He didn't defeat Elizabeth Warren. I wasn't expecting that, but if we can get some information, and if we can get some enthusiasm going up in Massachusetts, we might at least make us some kind of a splash. Yeah. And Steve Hayes said something interesting at the last conference call. He's planning to visit Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Really?
From New York.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know the splash that she's been making, but the key to her is that she's a rebel from the Democratic leadership, and she might be persuadable as to the fair tax.
Yeah.
If we can, and
there's a lot in it that Democrats should like.
Yeah, and we've done shows on that.
Yom Tov, New York speaks fluent Spanish.
Yeah. So
if Steve brings Adam and they can get a meeting with Alexandria, then there might be something going there. At least make trouble for the leadership, because the Democratic leadership is probably about as resistant as the Republican leadership.
Yeah, Sandy has noted here, Nancy Pelosi has said that she won't work with anybody who supports the fair tax, but if we can peel off enough of the rank and file folks, and your leadership is now at odds with your rank and file, the rank and file will usually win that confrontation.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. In the neighboring congressional district, a Democrat won the congressional seat, which had been occupied by Rodney Frelinghuysen, who retired. Rodney Frelinghuysen was an establishment Republican, and we couldn't get him to come onto the bill. Mm. But Mikey Sherrill, the new congresswoman, is a Navy pilot. She flew helicopters, did things like that. We think that she might be. I think she also said that she would not vote for Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker. Now, let's see what she does when it comes to the crunch. But I think that she might be somebody we could peel off.
Okay, before we get, we're out of time here. Randy is asking you to mention that folks can connect through FairTax USA at member.fairtax.org. And I've also got a question from Michael Bullock. Is there a news story or a link for Georgia's push for the fair tax?
And I think Randy put something there, Georgians for Fair Tax. Fair Taxation.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's a live link. So, Michael, take a look at Randy's comment there, and it looks like that's the link to what you're looking for.
And Mara says mention the webinar tomorrow.
Oh, webinar.
You better not run
I
out
have
of
a
time
note
on that.
right here. I have a sticky note right here that Bob can read. Yeah, tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, is our quarterly webinar. Jade Wally, who's a CPA from Colorado, has got a presentation on new and emerging business models and how they fit with the Fair Tax. Going to be a great show. It's free for everybody. Just go to fairtax.org/webinar. That's all you have to do. fairtax.org/webinar, and that will lead you to the registration link. But tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being with us. You got anything else you want to wrap up before we have to?
We still got time.
We got like 5 minutes to play with here.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Well, I think the one thing I would ask everybody who's listening to this to do is please, whatever you're doing out in the field, send it to me. Send me a short write-up. Doesn't have to be very long. Send photos. People love pictures. That makes my job easier when I write Grassroots Corner. So send your stuff in.
And Grassroots Corner that's an email thing that comes out for folks who are unfamiliar with it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, explain what that is and how do you get it?
Well, if you're on FairTax USA, if you're on the mailing list, you get it by email. Mm-hmm. Be sure to check spam because sometimes we have trouble getting around spam filters. And look for it on social media. It usually comes out with Steve Hayes' chairman's report. So if you read both of those, you're pretty well informed about what's going on nationally.
All righty. And one more time, you give your email address one more time for anybody who wants to get in touch with you for help getting something organized and going.
Absolutely. It's Jim.Bennett, BENNETT, at FAIRtax.org.
Pretty simple.
That's easy enough to remember.
Yep. Jim.Bennett. Yep. And I also want to remind people that we have a social media site that is just for fair tax advocates. It's you can get there at member.fairtax.org, member.fairtax.org. And it's a social media site. It's kind of like Facebook, except we don't do any censoring. Don't
censor your political opinion if they don't like it.
And we can exchange ideas and all the stuff that Jim has been talking about, all these things that are happening around the country, we need to be using that. We're calling it FairTax USA. We need to be using FairTax USA to exchange these ideas because sometimes you say, hey, that's a good idea. I never thought of that. I can do that in my state, you know? So member.fairtax.org, join up. We call it FairTax USA. Join it. Bob and I are going to be working on next week's show, and next year, I mean, in just a few weeks, really just a few days in 2019, we're going to start with PopVox all over again because we'll have a new Congress, and we'll have all the legislation has to be resubmitted, and we'll start over again with popvox.com, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, again, Jim, thanks for being with us. Don't freeze up there, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bob and Ron, for having me on.
All right.
Our pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and we'll do it again because we need to do like periodic updates with what people are doing around the country. Everybody needs to get the idea. And you know, I'm looking at your notes, and you only were able to cover a smattering of it, but we'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Right? It's important for everybody to see that there is a lot going on around the country. Individuals are doing, we got guys visiting colleges, we got people talking to their congressmen and so forth. There's a lot you can do, and you can do a little or you can do a lot. It's totally up to you.
Okay. Sandy says thank you. Sandy's one of our regular listeners here on FairTax Power Radio.
Yep.
And in fact, she says she's in Chattanooga. That's where the steam trains are. I'm going to have to go up there.
Mr. Train Guy.
You know I'd get that in there some way, somehow.
Absolutely. And let's see. It's almost Christmas. So,
so we got Christmas cookies here.
Yep.
And this is normally where you show all the props you can get at the FairTax logo store. You can see the logo, the address up there on the end of the screen. There we go.
Scrolling banners. Yep.
Yeah. Now, Jim, show us the mug that your son made.
Your grandson, right?
Was it son or grandson?
Right?
Oh, there we go.
Isn't that great? Look at that.
And back.
I love Grandpa.
Had to be a grandson since his grandpa on it.
And FAIRtax on the other side. That's great.
That's cool. We'll make that work. All right,
Okay.
that's just, we about out of time here, so this is going to wrap up this edition of FAIRtax Power Radio. Jim, again, thank you so much for...
Give them our email.
Okay, thefairtaxguys@gmail.com if you'd like to get a hold of us. The FAIRtax Guys have a Facebook page. You can leave us likes and comments and stuff there. You can join us again in fact, this is our last live program for the year.
Yeah.
We're going to be pre-recorded for the next 2 weeks. Now, as those programs stream, the comments will be running live. The video portion will be pre-recorded. But we're going to take ourselves a little bit of a holiday break. But then when the new Congress gets on, we're going to hit the ground running and convince them to pass the FAIRtax. That's
right. We got to get record numbers of co-sponsors.
Sandy says, love the mug.
Love the mug, yeah.
That's good stuff. All right, well, I tell you, that's going to wrap up this edition of FAIRtax Power Radio. I'm Bob Paxton.
And I'm Ron Molero.
We're the FAIRtax Guys, reminding you that the FAIRtax is America's big solution, and once you understand it,
you'll demand it.
Oh, these income tax forms are way too complicated. There's got to be a better way. Who are you?
We're the FAIRtax Guys.
We've got a big solution for you.
What's that?
It's the FAIRtax. Completely eliminates the federal income tax returns ever. No more IRS. All gone. And I guarantee you, once you understand it,
you'll demand it.
Yeah.